Hello everyone. So today we are going to solve a few questions from Code Forces around 677, and this contest was a very trivial contest. So here are some questions. Trivial as in the contest was very easy. So here are some questions from the contest. Mm, so question number one, the question number A, boring apartments. So in this question was very easy. In this question, there are apartments ranked from 1 to 10,000, and there is a character who calls with apartment number with which has the same digit. Like he will call only the 111 or 111 or 1111 in increasing order, and then he will start calling 222 like this. So our task is to find that. So what will happen is after he will keep calling these people in order, and then some guy will uh, finally answer the call, and then after that he will stop calling. So we have to determine the number of buttons he has pressed, till he called the people. Okay, till he calls the last person. So we will be given the apartment number of the last person, the person who answers the call. So this question is very trivial. So how are we going to do this? So when we get a number, suppose we get 333. Okay, so we know that while before calling 333, he has called entire set of 111, entire set of 1, which will consist of 111, 111, and 1111, and 222, 22, and 222. Okay, and each such set will cost him to dial 10 numbers each. And for 333, it has 3 digits. So the person might have called 3 into 2 by 2, sorry, 3 into 4 by 2, that is 6 digit for this the set of 3. So total number of calls will be uh, 10 into the digit which we have received, minus 1, plus the the length of the string, we'll call this L, into L plus 1 by 2. So this is the answer we are going to print. And the code for this is very easy. We are given the number, we can find the length of number, we can find what digit it has, and we can simply print the number. Okay, so this was the first question. I will move on to the second question. Mm, the second question was yet another bookshelf. So in this question, we are given an array, of ones and zeros, and all we have to determine was ones and zeros which represent bookshelves which represented uh, whether there is a book present at that position. So if it is 0, which means there is no book. If there is 1, then there is a book. So some kind of array we were given, and in each and we can perform one operation every time. That is, we can take a continuous segment of books, and we can either right shift it or left shift it. Okay, so our task in this question was to collect all the books together. This question was also very easy, because after some you can make an observation that it doesn't matter how you how in what order you shift the books, the answer will always be the same. For example, if you shift this book over here, and then keep shifting this book twice over there, it will take you a total of 3 steps. Okay, and to get to this 3 step, we can this 3 will come from take the starting okay, let me show it over here. Let us take the same array. take the starting occurrence of 1 and the final occurrence of 1, and between this sub array the number of zeros will be the answer. Now the question is, why is this the answer? So suppose when we shift this book slot to right side, we basically eliminate 1 0 each time. So for example, when we shift over here, this 0 will go over here, and within our sub array of books we have eliminated 1 0. Then we shift it again once more, then we have encountered finish 2 steps, and we have eliminated 2 zeros. This implies in every step we are going to eliminate 1 0 between our sub array, and so total we have to eliminate all the zeros between our first and last occurrence of a book. So the code for this is very simple. uh, you, you will find the first occurrence of 1, you will find the last occurrence of 1, and count number of zeros between them. Okay, so this was also a trivial question. Now question number C. Let me now question number C is dominant piranha. This was also a very easy question. You just had to take care of one edge case. Okay, so in this question, what we had was we had an integer n and an array of size n, which showed the which represented the size of the piranha. Suppose something like this. Okay, so so what a piranha can do is it can eat any adjacent piranha, such that suppose 7 eats 5, so 5 will be eliminated from the array, and the size of 7 will increase by 1, that it will become 8. Okay, so our task was to determine the index of the dominant piranha. What is dominant piranha? That piranha which is going to eat out every other piranha, or you can or we have to determine whether it is not possible. So in the example test case, itself, they had given a test case where the n was 3 and the array was 1 1 1. So each piranha is equally dominant, so it can't eat anyone else. So you cannot determine the a dominant piranha in that case where all piranhas are of same size. Now there can be multiple answers to the question, but we need to find one algorithm which will make sure that we end up at the correct piranha. So what we'll do is we'll print the index of piranha of maximum size. Okay, but but if you write the index of maximum size, this might give you an this will give you an wrong answer. Why? Because there is an edge case which you are going to miss. When you find the index of the max size piranha, so suppose we have this array, and if you find the size of piranha, if you find the index with a piranha of max size, you might get this 5, that is at the zeroth index, that is first position. So if you print 1, you will get wrong answer, because this piranha cannot hit this piranha, but the answer here should be 5. So we need to handle this edge case, and it's really simple. So I will write a pseudo code for this I will write a pseudo code for this contest, for I mean pseudo code for this question. So what we will do is, okay, so what are we going to do is first of all we are going to determine whether the maximum index, whether the first of all we are going to determine that all the elements are same or not. If they are same, if they are same, we'll print -1. Else we will print the index of so if our okay, so when else we'll print the index of max element. But before that we have to check that the max element is not at 0. So if our max element is at 0, there can be two cases. Okay, so if our max element is at 0, so we can print this as the answer. Otherwise we will have to print this as the answer. So how are you going to handle this? It is very simple. If our max element is not at 0, something like this, we can directly print the index 2. Otherwise, in these cases, what are we going to do is, if our max element is present at the 0th index, we'll start checking from here, and at that point which we encounter a number not equal to the max element, we'll print that its previous index. So for example here over here, this is 1, this is 2, and uh, we found a number other than the max element at 3, so we'll print its previous number. So in this way we are going to solve this question. Okay, so this was the third question. Now we'll go to the district connection. Question number D, district connection. So this question was also a very simple question. Okay, let me okay, so in this question we were given a t test cases, a number n for each test case, telling number of districts, and an array A which gave an integer representing the gang dominating there. Now in this question what we had to do is, so there were n cities are located, and a gang A and a gang AI is dominating over the city. Now our task is to print roads, that is edges between two cities, such that um, a ai I mean a of I unequal to a of j for all I comma j belonging to 1 comma n. Okay, such that so we have to connect two cities such that have none of those two cities have the same gang dominating. And also you should be able to connect, you should be able to travel from every city to every other city, uh, such that you should be able to travel from every city to any other city, following this condition, that is no two adjacent cities have the same dominating gang. So in this question, when if you have an array which contains the same element, you cannot find the you cannot make the city such that you cannot make the road such that adjacent cities have same don't have the same gang. And if you look carefully at the in sample test case 3, uh, what they did was, they connect we were given 4 different city, and each city had a different gang. So what they did was, they connected one with every city. So this is the method we are going to follow. Now now if all cities have a same gang, we'll print no directly. Otherwise what we're going to do is, let me take an example. Suppose our example is 1 2 2 1 3. Okay, suppose this is our example. So what are we going to do is, we will connect one with every other city which is not equal to 1. So we'll print their indexes. So for example, the gang dominating in city 1 is not same as city 2, so we'll print 1 2. We'll print 1 3. We cannot print 1 4 because both the cities have same country dominating, and we'll print 1 5. Now after doing this, we are sure that all the cities are mapped with city 1 except for the city which has same gang as city 1. That is, uh, in city 1 we have the gang with number 1. So this city is connected to city 1, this city is connected to city 1, and this city is connected to city 1. So but the city number 4 is not connected with city 1. But we can do one thing, that is connect city number 4 with any other city other than 1. So we'll connect it with ct2. So basically we need to find so basically in this question we need to find we need to have at least two cities and connect them accordingly. So in a first loop we will first thing, so for the to talk about the pseudocode, the first we will check if all elements are equal or not. If all elements are equal, then we'll directly print no. Otherwise we'll print yes. And in the first for loop we'll find the index of the city with city which does not have the same gang as city number 1. So and we will store the index of that city. So for example in this test case we'll save the index uh, 2 2 with us. And after that in another for loop we will run a for loop from index 1 to n minus 1, 1 0 indexing, and we'll map and we will connect city numbers 1 like this one with every other city which doesn't have the same gang. And later we will find the cities with the same gang as city number 1 and connect it with the second element we stored, and we can get our answer in O(n) complexity. Okay, so this was the basic idea of the question. And now the last question which I managed to solve yesterday was the two round answers. So in this question we were given an input n, and we which was an even number, so n mod 2 is equal to 0. And what we had to do was we had to divide this into two groups, A and B, and we had to divide this into two circular groups A and B. So for example if I have 4, then I will have to divide it as 1 2 and 3 4, or and each circular permutation is identical. So for example I have n is equal to 6, so I put here 1 2 3 and then 3 4 4 5 6. In we had to divide it into two group, right? So in first group I put 1 2 3, in other I put 4 5 6. Then 1 2 3 will be same as 3 1 2 will be same as 2 3 1, because when we arrange these people in circle, they are indistinguishable, because 1 2 3 will be same as 2 3 1 will be same as 3 1 2. Okay, so this is a basic permutation and combination question. So the answer is pretty simple. So we have to divide those into two groups. So we'll write nc n by 2, because we'll select half of this people and put it into group 1, and select half of those and put it in group 1, and rest other in group 2. Okay, so we'll put first in group okay, so by now we have divided these people into two other, like two different we have divided these people into two different groups. Okay, now nc2 can be written as n factorial upon n by 2 factorial into n by 2 factorial. Okay, nc n by 2. And then the permutation, okay, there is a simple concept about cyclic permutation. That is, if you want to arrange 5 people in a cyclic permutation, or rather if you want to arrange n people in cyclic permutation, the answer will be n minus 1 factorial. Why is this so? So suppose I take one person and keep them placing on a circle. So the first person will have, wherever I place him in the circle of n positions, the first person will have a fixed position, and rest n minus 1 people will have n minus 1 factorial choices. Okay, let me explain this in a better manner. Suppose I have n people and I have to arrange them in a circle of n positions. So the first person, though a first person will have all positions identical, so the first person will have all positions identical. So number of ways of putting the first person will be 1. Then remaining n minus 1 people, uh, the next person will have n minus 1 positions, and the other person will have n minus 2 positions, and so on. Because first, as we fix the first person, we have so all the places become distinct, because this position is 1 away from the original person, this position is 2 away from the original person, like that. So the this becomes n minus 1 factorial. So our so after distributing the people into two groups, we have to divide them, like we have to write the possible permutations from them for them as well. So it will become n minus so this is the combination, this is the permutation term, and we'll multiply it by a half. Why half? Because when we select and when we write nc n by 2, that is when we select half of these people. uh, so suppose I have 4 people and I select half of those people. So if I choose 1 2, then 3 4 are automatically selected for the other cases. So when I select 1 2 for the first group and 3 4 for the other group, or 3 4 for the first group or 1 2 for the other group, this both are the same condition, so this extra additional divided by 2. So our answer becomes n factorial upon n by 2 the whole square into 1 half. This is the final answer. So that's it guys, that's it for today.